Hello out there. How's everybody doing? Is everybody there conservative in New York? Christopher Wright here to present you with one of my sit back and chats. Hope you enjoy. So let's get to the topic at hand. Everybody knows what's going on out there. Everybody was this weekend. Hope everybody's enjoying your weekend, by the way. But I know everybody was, in tune. A couple of days ago with the debate going on against Let's Go Brandon and Donald J. Trump. It was a very interesting debate. It was more enjoyable and more entertaining than I thought it would be. To be honest with you, I told you guys saw I did a walk and talk right beforehand talking about what I felt the debate was going to be. I told you in the walk and talk that I thought Trump was going to crush it. In my opinion, he did. And I thought Trump, it was going to solidify. I think it's already solidified. The presidency is already solidified, in my opinion. It's just icing on the cake for Trump, this debate. And it was, he put the extra icing on there. Let's go, Brandon. Man, Joe Biden, to be honest, he didn't do well. He sounded bad. He looked bad. I'm not a big Joe Biden fan, but, even recently, Joe Biden has sounded and looked better than what he did at that debate. He could have been, I've seen him worse. There has been Joe Biden at worse, than what we saw, but what we saw the other day was pretty bad. And, I just don't see it getting any better till November. He's an older man, today is the youngest you'll ever be, like the quote goes, you know what I mean? So, I got some clips and highlights I wanted to go through from the debate, and I want to get you guys 2 cents as well. So, while I'm playing the clips and the highlights, please in the comment section, say what you feel about what's going on. I'll try to highlight some of the comments, let people know, get it out there and what your 2 cents are. So the first clip I'm going to go over is in the debate is when Trump and Biden were going back and forth about the whole veteran issue. And, he claimed that Trump called veterans suckers and losers, but I'm going to let the clip play for itself and, leave some comments in the comment section and, let's talk about it.
Single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
Okay, all right. So you guys saw that little back and forth between, Joe Biden and Trump when it came to the veterans. He's claiming that, that Trump said that our, veterans were suckers and losers, at the veteran memorial in the past when he was president still. That is, I mean, look, if you guys looked at the debate, a lot of what Joe Biden was saying about Trump was a lot of it was rumors and hearsay compared to what Trump was saying about Joe Biden, which was a lot of it was audio, video evidence stuff. You can go back and look. So he said, hey, Joe Biden, you said this about, black youth and black kids being roaches or whatever, cockroaches. You can go back and see what Trump was saying. So it's not like Trump was saying hearsay or rumors. Trump was giving you facts and truth, while Joe Biden was giving you a lot of hearsay and rumors. Oh, supposedly so-and-so said behind closed doors, you said this. Without evidence, it means nothing. You need facts, you need evidence. We know how the left is when it comes to facts and evidence. They're not the best when it comes to that. And that is a perfect example when it comes to something as important as the veterans. And come on, guys. I know some of you guys out there weren't Trump supporters or whatever, but as a Trump supporter, and even from a distance watching the president when he was on Trump, when he was president, you could tell that he supported our troops. He was about the military. He didn't get into any wars when he was president. He was, any time he could show any support or love to our troops or the veterans, he was about that life, man. You cannot look at Trump as a president and say, nah, that's president that wasn't really about the military. That's not Trump. There was presidents you can kind of look at and kind of give, but the past in our history, American history, Donald Trump is not one of the presidents. He's always been a supporter of, the military and stuff like that, and especially the veterans. All right, and and we got Caroline from New York. Chris, you are a real warrior. It's really hard to stay that way, yet that's who you are. Wishing you all the best. Trump 2024. Thank you, Caroline. Appreciate the support. That was the comment section right there. But let's go ahead to the next clip I have here. It's going to be, as we all know, let's get to the topic at hand when it comes to this debate. Everybody's talking about it. The Biden, when his little mishap. But let's go ahead and play that.
Now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
So you heard it there, folks. Trump said he don't really understand what he said at the end of this sentence, and I don't think he understood either. So he nailed it. I mean, anybody who's been watching Biden for a while knows what the case is with Sleepy Joe Biden, man. And I'm not disrespecting the guy, and I need to stop being so disrespectful to the guy. The guy is technically president of the United States. You got to respect the commander in chief. My dad always taught me that, being a military guy, him being an Army major veteran, you got to respect that position. But that's a little different with him. But anyways, what I noticed back in 2019 when the Democrats came out and said, this is going to be the candidate we're going to run on the Democrat Party, under the Democratic Party flag, yada, yada, yada. I was like, what a bad choice. I thought, anybody, when I was younger and I was a Democrat, I knew he was a bad candidate back then before he had dementia. He was called a filler candidate. There's a candidate they would put out there every, 2 to 4 years to run. And you knew he didn't have a chance to win the presidency, but, he will make things interesting, saying something in a debate that will get people talking. But eventually he'll say something foolish where he'll just fall off and that'll be it. So Joe Biden wasn't a good candidate prior to dementia. So when they ran him in 2019 and said, oh, this is our candidate, and now the guy's having dementia, I looked at the Democrat Party like they were nuts. I'm like, are you guys crazy? This guy wasn't a good candidate prior to having that mental issue. Now you're running him with a mental problem. So I just thought, I was like, man, this guy wins. This country's in serious trouble. And I meant that. And then, of course, as we guys know, in my opinion, they stole the election and they put Joe Biden in office. And we were stuck with them for now going on 4 years. And look where we're at. And we have so many people now, and it's blowing my mind that people are seeing on the debate now or coming after this debate, you're saying, oh my gosh, Joe Biden's not in good shape. I'm like, it took his debate for you to see that? I mean, I could tell Joe Biden was in good shape back in 2019 when he was running against Trump in the first election. I said, this guy's in bad shape. This guy's not a good candidate to run. You guys have other options. Pick another option. And they ran this guy. And now we're stuck with them. And now people are coming out and left, should we replace him? Da, 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 da. And it's like, and they're panicking. And it's like, you guys should have had this all thought out and planned while Trump was in office the first time around. while Trump was in office, the first time they should have been thinking about the candidate they're going to run against him in 2020, and they should have had it all figured out. Now they're in panic mode, trying to have it all figured out now. A little too late. So on that note, let's talk about this little clip here. I like this clip here. This is a clip here where I felt that Trump kind of went in on Biden. He really had a chance to kind of go at him and like unleash a little bit on him. And, you know, with this whole setup they had it, you know, with CNN, you know, having, Jake Tapper as a host. And, you know, the past with Jake Tapper and Trump and his family has always been kind of, you know, just back and forth, just, you know, always bumping heads, going back and forth with each other. And so I was kind of surprised to kind of see, you know, Jake Tapper kind of stick to the rules a bit with the timing and everything with the setup with this event. But, you know, I mean, it's this debate, but I didn't like the setup of the debate initially. I was surprised that Trump took the offer, but he did. And with this, you know, he had a moment where he had this chance to speak, and he just let loose on him. So I want to play that. And, you know, give me your thoughts in the comment section, please do.
I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him.
Phew. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, that was to me, when I saw that at the debate the other night, I was like, man, Trump gave it to him right there. Trump went in. You know, that was a that's a little right there, you know, uppercut right there to the gut, man. And you saw the faces that you know, body language is 80% of communication. Well, look at Biden's body language there in this debate in the clips I'm showing. Look how, this embarrassed he looks. I know that's the best word I can say, man. There was times he just looked so embarrassed for himself, and he just looked down and look at shock of, oh my goodness, did, you know, like shocked, like, did I do that? Yeah, that was you who did that. That's who governed like that. And, you know, and Trump really gave it to him when it came to the mandate situation, when he talked about COVID. You know, he didn't let off on that because that was a very important issue. Me being in New York, me not being vaccinated, I dealt with the mandates. I dealt with segregation, you know, in New York, being told you can't go to work here, you can't eat here, you can't drink here, you can't go to a hospital to see a family member, all this crazy stuff. I was a month and a half away from not being able to see my father in the hospital, who passed away from blood clots, by the way, because of this, man. So I dealt with this firsthand. And, you know, so it hit home, man. And hear a former president talk about this and bring it up and really just go in, I really was appreciative. And I think he really did the best he could to let Trump have it with the time setting he had at CNN and allowed him to have. And honestly, in a crazy, weird way, I think it benefited Trump in a way, because I like the brash, in-your-face Trump. Hey, give me the debate Trump from prior debates. Let him go free for all Trump. Let him have it. But I always hear people that watch the debate say, oh, man, this guy's a little too brash. He's a little too harsh. With this CNN setting, it kind of gave Trump like a PG version of Trump. And I saw a lot of people that I think would usually say, he's just too much for me. We're kind of like, okay, I like what he had to say. And they had, you know, we're more open to hear what Trump had to say, even though he had the same message. His presentation was different. So maybe in a strange way, this kind of did benefit him. I don't know if it did overall, but, you know, I think with the people that were a little hesitant to hear what he had to say, maybe. Okay, so the next clip I want to go to, let me see here. Okay. Yep, and we did the Trump. Oh yeah, so let's get to the exiting of, oh no, I'm sorry. The last one on the debate, in terms of debate, I want to play is when Trump kind of at the very end of the debate, Biden, you know, kind of took a shot at him about the veteran situation one more time. And then Trump kind of took it and said, okay, I got one more point to make. Let me kind of literally point at this guy and make my last point. But about the comes to the veterans, but check this out. And then I'll talk about it. And like I said, leave comments in the comment section. Please do.
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. and they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry about the little cut up on information, but, that was the best clip I could find. But, he talked about it, because he's trying to say, oh, the veterans, respect me and all this stuff like that. And Trump came at the end and said, nah, let's be real here. The veterans do not like you, buddy. And I remember when Biden first got elected, he went to West Point and he had the worst applause from the audience there. I remember he had to tell them at one point, hey, you clap here, give me a clap, because they weren't giving him any kind of love there. So that is a lie. And again, with the veterans, Trump has the support from the veterans way more than Biden. So this whole thing with Biden, with the rumor of Trump saying this, suckers and losers, get out of here with the nonsense. You need evidence and facts. The left never has it, just accusations. Trump had again pointed out and go at him and let it be known. And, I tell people all the time, look at the comment section. Not the comment section, but look at after the debate was over and look how the reactions of this debate. This was the most interesting part of the debate, I think, was the reaction part of it, because, boy, I was watching MSNBC and CNN, and they were reacting in a way I've never saw. And it was, I feel a good sign for us. I never look, mainstream media, I never trust them. Regards, if they're yay or nay with me or against me, I'm never going to trust them. I know not to trust them, but I do enjoy seeing the left react in a, TDS kind of fashion. And you definitely saw the mainstream media acting that way. There's a few clips I want to play from the mainstream media and kind of go from there. Hold on one second. Before I do, here's a clip I want to play from Vivek Ramaswamy, who people are rumored that might be Trump's VP pick. And people are rumored that Trump was going to pick his VP the other night. It was Thursday night was debate that he might pick his VP pick then. But of course, as we know, he didn't. But with that said, there's an older clip from Vivek when he made during the debates when he was running during the primaries. And it's, kind of things, it kind of aged very well kind of clip. And I want to play that for you before I play the reaction from the left-wing media. So let me go ahead and put that clip in there and play it and get your thoughts.
I also want to close with one message to the Democrat Party. End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up so we can have an honest debate. Biden should step aside, end his candidacy now so we can see whether it's Newsom or Michelle Obama or whoever else.
All right,
just tell us the truth so we can have an honest debate.
Ambassador.
Woo-hoo. Man, Vivek, boy, letting it be known, Vivek, I ain't mad at you, man. He say so. He's, back then it kind of, I agreed with him. And I thought it was kind of a long shot, but after last night and after seeing the reactions from a lot of left-wing media, I'm like, whoa, I think Vivek might have called that one because, he said enough of the games, stuff of the BS. Let's stop playing the games here. Is it going to be what? Is it going to be Newsom? Is it going to be Michelle? What's the deal? And I kind of was like, Vivek, slow down, play. They both came out and said they don't plan on running this year. I don't think it's going to be either of them. I think they're going to stick with Joe just for the end of November. It's almost November. I honestly felt it was going to be Joe. Me personally, no shot of a doubt. It was. I knew it was possibility. Trust me, I never doubt the Democratic Party because they are always on offense, even if it's in a negative fashion. They're coming at you, even if it's lies and manipulation. They still attack. So I never put it past them, but I honestly felt that they're going to stick with Joe Biden until November. But after last night's debate and seeing the reactions again, like I said, it's looking like a good possibility. It could be Michelle or Newsom. But let's play some of the reaction. The first one I want to play because I thought it was the most, telling and also the most kind of funny in a way because, it's two characters on the left that are MSNBC and we know them very familiar. I'm sure if you see, former Democrat, or if you just, see people always being negative when it comes to Trump, their faces always pop up. Joy Reid and Nicole Wallace, MSNBC. I want to play a clip from them and their reaction. So check out how they reacted after the debates, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They're a perfect example.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with
Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak.
There is a conversation happening inside Biden's circle, and certainly a much more frank conversation happening inside the Democratic coalition. And I think there will be stories of a lot of concern about the performance tonight. And I think when
you say conversations happening, what do you mean?
I think people are talking. I think the conversations range from whether he should be in this race tomorrow morning to what was wrong with him. I mean, he has a cold.
So yeah, so you saw it. You saw the voice, the voice, the tone of voice, the concern in their tone of voice. It really was prevalent. You could hear it, and you saw it in the body language. You just saw, man, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do now? And I'm like, you're in panic right now because you did not have it strategized or planned out dating back to 2017, like you should have, like a normal, opposition party would have. The opposition won the presidency. Now we got to think, okay, what are we going to do in 4 years from now? Who's our next candidate? Start strategizing. That's what they started doing. Instead, they were saying, oh, Trump's going to be impeached. I remember talking to leftists during Trump's presidency, and all I heard was, well, he's going to get impeached. He's not going to be around. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, who are you guys going to run in 2020? It doesn't matter. Trump's going to be impeached. That wasn't an answer that I want to hear. Like, who are you guys going to run? And we saw all this. They're pushing it back to all to the point that we're at now, where they're in full panic because they don't have anybody at this point. And you're seeing the Joy Reids and Nicole Wallaces of the world panicking, freaking out. And I mean, it's just, to me, it's hilarious. And then and this is another interesting one where they talk about Biden when he went to Camp David, because as you guys know, he was at Camp David for a couple of weeks prior to the debate to kind of train. And I heard that anywhere from see if he could stand for 90 minutes straight to just. They were feeding him the questions beforehand, and people were like, "Oh no, that was a rumor. That's not true," and all this stuff. But this person here kind of let it be known that he was getting the questions. They might have let it slip out because they were panicking, but they did let it be known that Biden was receiving the questions beforehand. So he should have been fully prepared, but yet we saw how he performed at the debate. But here's the clip of that individual speaking about that.
Goes through 6 days of preparation at Camp David.
More than that.
And they know the rules.
It was more than a week.
Okay, so more than a week. They know the rules. He practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions is coming. And yet he couldn't fill the time. Now, I just want to, let's see what the White House is saying. Sources close to the White House are saying he had a cold, wasn't feeling well. I mean, as you would expect, that came out early on in the debate. But what accounts for someone with so much experience doing so much preparation and this being the outcome?
Honestly, I think the question answers itself. He wasn't capable of doing any better than he did.
There you have it, folks. The question answers itself. He wasn't capable of doing better than what he was able to do. And that's, what you see is what you got with Joe Biden. And I know there's a lot of people on the left right now that are panicking. They're like, what do we do? Who do we go? Who do we vote for? What's next? I don't know what to tell you. I've been trying to talk with you guys and have civil conversations. And of course, civil conversations with some of these leftists doesn't make any sense. It's like an oxymoron. But, I've been trying to speak with you civilly. I'm a former leftist myself. Like I said, in 2016, when I voted for Trump, I didn't say to myself, I'm a lifelong Republican. I said, I'll give Trump a chance. If he doesn't do a good job, I'll go back to the Democratic Party. I tell people all the time, the Democratic Party went so far left, they left me. And I can't go back to the party now. They're talking about men having babies and kids choosing gender. And my goodness, the list goes on and on and on and on. And transgender story hours where grown men are twerking in front of little boys and girls. And I'm supposed to think that's okay. And none of it's okay. So it's a lot of this Trump derangement syndrome, to be honest with you, in my perfect opinion. I think Trump was doing so well. He's such a masculine alpha male and governed that way that it just made them lose their wigs exploded. They couldn't handle it anymore because a lot of them have been babied most of their lives, and they never been bullied because they grew up in a generation of we're all winners, and they grew up in that. So they went their whole life without being disciplined by anybody. So now they're grown adult babies. And New York City, where I'm living, and a lot of it's full of them. and I deal with them often, and I had confrontations with them in the past very often, especially during Trump's presidency. So that's why I sound like I might have a little bit experience when I'm speaking about the matter, because I see these people firsthand, and I'm seeing how they're freaking out right now. And I gotta say, I enjoy every second of this. And first time I voted for Trump, I was shocked that these people acted like this because Trump won, and I just was like, what's going on? But this time around, and after 4 years of Biden, I'm just ready to celebrate when I see these people react this way this next time around. So I just got a few more clips I wanted to play for you guys. Let me go ahead and go with, we saw the MSNBC panic. Let's go to the CNN panic. Let's watch a little bit of the CNN and see how they panicked on here.
The candidacy has fallen, okay? Man, I know you're speaking from your heart. I'm worried about the president. We should pray for the president. I think his advisors, I think the White House, and I think his family have a lot of explaining to do to their party and to the American people. This night, this one night, was caused by and asked for by the Biden team. They wanted this night. And this is what we got. We have been told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people.
Including Kevin McCarthy?
We've been told, Kate.
Wow. So there you have it, folks. And it just said, like you said, further confirmation of what I was talking about earlier. And like I said, they were saying, Joe Biden is Camp David, he's all this time of training, and yet this is what we received. This is what we were able to receive. And you heard from anchors and previous anchors say, this is all he had. And this is unfortunate, folks. I mean, I hate, this is the president of the United States, what we're witnessing. And this is what the world is witnessing right now. And this is why we're having issues in Afghanistan. This is why we're having issues right now in Ukraine. And this is why we're having issues, all around the world right now. And not all around the world, but, a lot of places in the world right now is because they're seeing what we saw last night is a weak commander in chief. He's weak. He is not capable. He's, if you are a world leader right now and you want to make a move strategically, geographically, this is the time, because you see America's at its weakest point because you look at that leader and it's right there in your face, folks. It's right there in your face. And I'm just, surprised that, again, like I said earlier, that so many people were like, they had to see that debate on Thursday night to kind of say, wow, Joe Biden's in bad shape. It's like, you didn't notice, you didn't see when he was falling up the stairs, when he's trying to get on Air Force One, it wasn't falling off the bike. It wasn't falling, on the stage. It wasn't all the times he couldn't exit the proper way off stage. It wasn't him with the words that were coming out of his mouth being totally just oblivious to what he was talking about. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with this guy, of moments of him not being able to, I would say even live on his own. I mean, forget governing the United States of America, being president. I mean, just being an adult, being able to live by himself. I don't know if he's capable of doing that. So with that said, let's talk about somebody that is a main reason why he's able even to function. And I've been talking about her for quite a bit of time, but, I'm going to bring her up again because, she's like, again, more of a nurse than a wife. And, and that's, Joe Biden, she's, out there, fighting for him. And I think at the point she's just really out there just for her own personal clout. She's got her brand now that she's, first lady, it's clout, a lot of clout that comes with that, of course, as we know, in America and stuff like that. So I just think she's kind of gotten used to that, and she's not going anywhere when it comes to that at this point. And she, I also think she wants to, going with the lie that Joe is functioning and Joe's governing and Joe's, he's okay and all that good stuff. So she wants to kind of push that narrative as well. So, let me play a little clip from Jill and give me your thoughts in the comment section.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
them. He said he's the only president in a while who didn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Troops have, of course, died on his watch. He said he's put in a $15 per shot cap on insulin and Medicare. It's a $35 a month cap. He said it's a $200 cap on overall drug spending in Medicare. It's $2,000 a year. He said the border now has fewer crossings than when Trump was in office. That's generally not true. He said, or at least strongly suggested, unemployment was at 15% when he took office. It was actually 6.4. He said Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Trump doesn't. He said billionaires pay 8.2% in taxes. It's much higher. He said Trump told Americans to inject bleach amid COVID. We know Trump made foolish comments about scientists studying disinfectant injection, but didn't frame it as advice to people. And Biden said the Border Patrol endorsed him. No, its union supported the border bill he'd supported, never endorsed him himself.
All right, so there you go. And I just wanted to throw, I forgot to mention that I threw that extra little part on the end there to kind of, show, hey, you heard Joe Biden and his wife claim that, Trump's a liar. Oh, Trump's lying. And the truth comes out. Even CNN had to come out and say, no, Joe Biden is a liar. And here's information to prove that Trump is telling the truth. And if you guys are asking me, why is CNN all of a sudden seem like they're telling the truth? I don't trust them. There's something to that. I don't disagree with you fully on that. But to be honest with you, the reason why I feel CNN all of a sudden is like turning this curve and all of a sudden is being honest when it comes to Trump all of a sudden kind of weird. To be honest with you, I call it the Bud Light effect. I think their ratings have gone through the floor. Boom. And they honestly need the American people at this point, or they are a risk of no longer being a news network. That is as simple as it gets, folks. And it shows you the power of we the people. So anytime we're dealing with this nonsense and the BS from the establishment, just stop supporting them and see what happens. But we'll see. Time will tell. Like, keep your eye on them. But, this is, it is what it is, folks. You see that, these lies that Joe Biden was trying to get away with last night, even their side, the left-wing media is not helping them, not supporting them. So, I mean, this is a lot of Americans are waking up. Is a sleeping giant fully awake? I mean, who knows? But it's good to see this. It's good to see that, And the last clips I want to play for you guys for about this whole debate and everything like that from the debate is the water damage. Is the damage control part of the whole situation. I played a part of Joe Biden's coming out and saying you did a great job, Joe, talking to him like he's a 4-year-old kid. He's looking there, looking all dumbfounded, and that's just pathetic to see that. But of course, we have her, doing her part. She always does that when it comes to Let's Go Brandon. But let's see a couple other people I want you guys to check out and see how they came out. And it's just further proof how bad that Joe Biden really did at this debate. Is you having, like I said, the left-wing media panicking, and they're not afraid to show it. It's one thing if they're hiding, they usually hide it and say, oh, they try to manipulate what the public saw with their own eyes. Oh, no, it's not as bad as you thought. Joe did good. Trump is the one that did bad. They usually try to do that, but they didn't do it this time around. And now you're seeing also the damage control from all these other candidates coming out now. So you're seeing the, proof that Joe Biden didn't do a good job, because this is what usually happens when somebody doesn't do a good job at an event or, any event from politics to sporting or anything like that. When it's a bad performance, this is the stuff you usually see when it comes to the after effect. But let's go ahead and play. First, I want to play Elizabeth Warren, her reaction to the whole situation. And, put in the comment section, give me your thoughts.
There have been more than 6.9 million apprehensions at the southern border thus far in Biden's term.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
There were just over 2 million in Donald Trump's entire term. What did the president do wrong?
No, this isn't about what the president did wrong. Remember, on the very first day that he was sworn into office,
don't remind me,
President Biden asked Congress both for the resources and for comprehensive immigration. The Republicans blocked it.
Is she having a stroke?
Donald Trump didn't have that either. Oh, Senator, he didn't have that either, and there were 2 million.
Good point.
The president tries to deal with the problem that is presented to him. He can't deal with it if Congress and the Republicans continue to block him.
Sounds like you're making a whole lot of excuses for him.
Yep. Yeah, folks, and I had sorry about the little comedy clips in the middle of the hand, but I'm sorry, this it is comedy with these guys. They are, it's a complete clown show. You saw how she was trying to maneuver and dance around the subject. How are we going to secure the border when the Republicans aren't helping us out? Well, Trump is working with the same policies and power that Biden currently has. So what's the excuse? So there you go. And then what else do you need to know? It's like there's proof again that, like I said, they're just avoiding the subject. They know that Biden did a bad job. Instead of just stepping up and saying, hey, this, he didn't do a good job. This is what we're going to do different next time around. Or trying to, die on that hill and say, no, he did a good job. And this is why. I don't know where they're going to go with that. But at least, this is just an example. They instead just try, as you saw Elizabeth Warren maneuver and dance around kind of like she does with her race. This is different, but, the same technique. So you saw Elizabeth Warren, of course, do that. Now let's go to another individual, Kamala Harris, the vice president that, of course, nobody is talking about becoming president if they get rid of Joe Biden. They're talking about, hey, let's get rid of Joe Biden, let's get rid of Joe Biden. This person with Gavin Newsom, maybe Michelle Obama, but yet nobody's talking Kamala Harris. And rumors has it behind the scenes, she's very upset about that, by the way. But that's a rumor. I'm not saying that's truth, but that's rumor has it that from people in that, near the inner circle that is, coming out and saying that she's very upset with that. And I mean, technically she should be, but I mean, if all you do is cackle all the time when somebody asks you important questions, what do you expect? But, and it's not even talking about how she got to where she was at in the first place, but that's another conversation. With that said, let's play Kamala and what her reaction to this whole Joe Biden debate was, her being the vice president.
It was a slow start. There's no question about that. But I thought it was a strong finish. And in particular, because what we know is that when you look at the two sides of the ledger, what we had in Joe Biden is someone who wanted to have a debate based on facts, based on truth. And in Donald Trump, we had what we have come to expect, which is someone who's going to push lies and distract from the reality of the damage he has created and continues to create in our country. You look at what Joe Biden has been able to accomplish in terms of delivering for the American people, whether it be the creation of 15 million new jobs, over 800,000 manufacturing jobs, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, what we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month, finally taking on Big Pharma and allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. These are the substantive issues that the American people care about. And what we saw tonight is more of the same. Joe Biden fighting for the American people, Donald Trump fighting for himself. Joe Biden has been very clear about where he stands, and he is clear with the American people. He is clear in purpose. And I think that came across tonight in this debate.
We're talking about the same Joe Biden? I mean, whoa. I mean, she just really just kind of just rambled on and on and on and on about, about this Joe Biden that, and all these accomplishments that I've yet to see. I mean, she's talking about, him bringing back businesses and, the factories and everything back to America and all stuff like that. I'm like, where are we living in the same continent? Like, what are you talking about, lady? So it's just like, all she's doing is just spewing talking points. It's just political talking points that politicians do. Especially for presidency, every 4 years to come out and say, oh, I built the economy and I strengthened trade and and it's like, but assuming that Americans don't do research, they, will just kind of skip on by with their talking points and move on. But if Americans that know politics have done the research know if, this politician's, trying to BS them or not. And, with Joe Biden, it's obvious, I can't tell you, and like I said, I'm somebody who follows politics very, heavily. I can tell you, the only thing I can tell you is with that, with him with the college tuitions, whatever that was, he got a few kids maybe, but even the Supreme Court just shot that down. So for the most part, that's nothing. He's done nothing. I can't tell you anything this guy's done. He is the worst president I've seen in my lifetime. I'm 40 years old, born in 1983. I have never in my lifetime seen a president this bad. And so just come out and try to die on the Joe Biden hill, that is a terrible hill to die on. There is no information. There's no policies passed. I mean, I understand. Look, I'm a person. Look, I always try to find the good out of anything. If this guy actually did something, I mean, he let a bunch of illegal aliens over here, 70% war-age males. That's why you saw Elizabeth Warren. She had nothing she could say. I mean, what can you say? There's nothing positive you can say about that. And crimes increased. I mean, You see what's happening to women all around the country right now with the rape and the murder and just the dismemberment and all this crazy stuff. And this is their culture. This is when you let a third world country into a country like America. It's insane. There's nothing this guy has done that benefits America. Nothing. So, I mean, I don't know how these people want it down this hill, but it is what it is. And there's one more clip I want to play for you guys. Oh, and by the way, please, I don't tell you guys, but the shadow banning is real. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. It'd be very appreciated. It goes a long way. Like I said, they're trying to, with the elections coming up, anybody on the right, they are trying to censor and silence, and it's insane. It's not just me. A lot of other patriots I follow and support dealing with the same thing. But so please remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you could, it'd be very appreciated. And the last clip I want to play is the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, everybody's favorite, and how her reaction was when she was asked about the debate. And, she pretty much came out and got this question, and this is her reaction. And I'm going to end on this note. And, and after that, call it a day. And let's go ahead and play the last clip.
Okay. Thank you, Karine. Are you guys here at the White House in full-blown freak-out mode?
Thanks, everybody.
All right. There you have it. There you have it, folks. There you have it. They cannot take it right now. The Democratic Party is at its weakest. Jamal Bowman, who I talked about my walk and talk, just got kicked out of the primary against George Latimer, showing that even New York doesn't want the far leftist socialist nonsense. Joe Biden did a horrible job at his freaking at the debate. You saw the reaction from the far leftist media, panic mode. You're seeing the press secretary just walking off, not taking questions. Like, she's usually just there to dodge or BS you. She just, Karine just today was like, I can't even do that. I'm just gone. And we're seeing even the January Sixers are getting wins. And some of them are, got the Supreme Court, shot down the whole arrest with quite a few of them. So it looks like a few of them are going to get released. And, I'm not saying all of them, but quite a few of them are. And hopefully all of them very soon. And we know in November, if there's any situation with that, they're going to get released when Trump's in office, when he wins that election. Because there's no way Trump's going to win. I know, and in my opinion, there's no way Trump's losing this. I'm sorry. People say, Chris, the voting, I get it. But they're going to have to do, I'm telling you, something that is mankind has yet to never seen before is still this election. Because there's going to be Republicans are, I'm not talking necessarily about the rhinos and the establishment. I'm talking about everyday American Republican voters, the grassroots. Our eyes are ready to go. We're watching. The country's watching. The world's watching. This is going to be the year where America is revived and we come back and we do what we need to do. And we got Trump as commander-in-chief. We got everyday Americans running for office, in office. We, the people, are going to be in office. That's the key. Everyday Americans going to be in office, from committeemen, district leaders, to congressmen, assemblymen. The list goes on and on and on and on. Governors, mayors, everywhere you look, it's going to be America first. And that's going to be the key. And, and let me just go over a few of your comments. I know you guys have been saying to me, see some of the comments here. All right, let's show this one. We got Professor Wake in Bush. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but the whole debate was a cheap fake. Biden is actually quite alert and coherent. You hear people saying, oh, it's all for show, it's all fake, it's all, just design. You always got to keep your eyes peeled for anything, see things for what they are, not what they appear to be. I get it. But I see what Trump has gone through. I see how the establishment reacts to him on a grassroots level all the way up to the top. And for that kind of reaction, that can't be faked. That's genuine. I see that's genuine hate they have for this man. So you can't tell me that's an act. I watched WWF wrestling growing up. I watched it for most of my life growing up. I love some of the best movies you can think of growing up with acting. Denzel Washington, Al Pacino, the list goes on. Great actors. I've seen some good acting in my day. I really don't think what's going on with Trump, what he's dealt with, what he's gone through, what I've personally seen with my own eyes, what I've been a part of with my own eye, what I've personally dealt with as an American citizen. I'm sorry, that's can't be an act. It has to be a point where you say, okay, this is real. This is real life here. And that's my opinion on that. But you know, you have the right to your opinion, your thoughts. Okay, and we got this next question here. It's Wiccan conservative. This would be a perfect defense of if they lose, and if that's the case, what on earth are they going to do oppose Trump in office this time around? That's honestly a pretty good question. That's a pretty good question. So, like I said, if they lose, there's that's what excuse they're going to try to use, and would it be Trump for another 4 years? Good question. I mean, it'll have to be. I mean, Joe Biden, all he's going to do is get older, and not to be negative and not to wish death on anybody. I just don't see him surviving in 4 years. So it'll have to be a VP pick, and you see they're trying to skip over Kamala. So where are they going to go with that, and what are they going to do with that? And are they going to do something unconstitutional in order to put somebody else who they want in power? I mean, with the left, you never put it past them. Yeah, no problem being conservative. You're welcome. Shout out to you as well. Thanks for the support. We got Superfly speaking. Superfly saying Biden is out of it. He looks scary at times. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. He looked out of it. Looked at like the days, like I said, he sounded sick. Like when they say he's sick, he could have been sick. He sounded like he had a cough. From the moment he came out, his voice sounded, it was let up. So as soon as I heard him talk, I was like, boy, it's going to be a freaking long day for Let's Go Brandon. And it was. And, like I said, could it have been worse? Yeah, technically. Could have been better? Oh, yeah. Have I seen him better? Yeah. Recently, yes. Prior to him running for office, extremely better. You look at young Joe Biden when he was senator, all that, he's, a lot more sharper, a lot more, on point, but when it came to a lot of things like that, but he still was a bad candidate. His policies weren't good. He was, in my opinion, he's a racist. And I'm not just saying that just to throw it out there, because that word gets thrown out there so much that it no longer has power, in my opinion. But there's, evidence of him, to me saying racist stuff. And, that's just my opinion. Let's go over a few more of the comments here, and, we'll go from there, call it a day. All right. So we got Internet Privacy Advocate. I don't know if you want his name up here. I'll put it up there, what he says. He was not legitimately elected. The undemocratic Dems orchestrated January 6th. Yes, I believe a lot of that's true. He was orchestrated. He was a Manchurian candidate, as they say. A term I had to learn when I learned about AOC and how she had people behind her to orchestrate her being put into that place that she was at. She genuinely won, in my opinion, though, vote-wise. I saw the Republican candidates they put against her, and when she first ran, they were horrific. They were like elderly, rhino, and whatever. But when it came to, but she still had people behind her who put her in place. But when it comes to Joe Biden, yeah, he definitely, by the Democrat Party, was put in there. Obama, I think, had a big hand in that, putting him in there, because he always said he wanted a third term. So I think Biden was that puppet to be put there, the ultimate example of figurehead, in order for them to continue their socialist policies. And you saw what we got from their socialist policies. And I think a lot of Americans are waking up because of those socialist policies, even on the left. And we're seeing fight. And that's what I like as American. I personally like to see is not only, a conservatives, you got people, us on the right, MAGA. I don't got to say nothing to you guys. You know where we stand. It's patriotism. It's America first all day long. But I'm glad to see Americans now, even, a lot of them moderates, and even on the left, some on the far left, saying I have enough. I've had enough. I'm American. I love my country. I don't hate America. I might have issues with it, but I don't hate America. I might have issues with the government, but I don't hate this country. So I'm glad to see so many Americans stepping up, because it just shows you that this country still has that fight, man. It still does. And I'm sure older Americans could tell me in their time it had a lot more of that gusto, that patriotism. But I'm glad to see, in my generation, even younger than me, they are having that fight, and America still has it. So I'm never going to give up on America. I'm never going to turn my back on America or say America can't, So That's pretty much, I think I'm going to end it on that note. Everybody who came out and watched my podcast, I know it's been a bit of time. I've just been so busy. Like I said, I ran for office against Jamal Bowman. So I wasn't sitting around just being depressed or nothing crazy like that. I wasn't, giving up or throwing in the white flag or, saying, oh, what can I do? I said I had enough, and I didn't want to just talk about the issues that affected the country on my podcast, on my YouTube channel. I want to actually do something about it. So I said, what better way to do that than what our forefathers designed for us to do when you got fed up, which was run for office and get rid of the people who you feel are the tyrannical group holding you back, and pass policies who you think will better affect you and the people around you, we the people. And that's what I tried my best to do. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do it this time around. But hey, Jamal Bowman still got taken out, which was a positive for me. And look, Abraham Lincoln won. He lost, 17 times before he got elected. So, and he's one of the politicians that, it's the reason why I fell in love with history and got interested in history, because of Abraham Lincoln. And so, he can put up that much fight. I think I can take a couple licks like this and get up and keep on fighting. And, that's what I'm going to say. And like always, may God bless everybody out there listening, and may God bless the United States of America. Peace out.